This episode is brought to you by ShipStation.com. If you sell on eBay, Etsy, or any other online vendor, you've got to check out ShipStation.com.
Hey junkies, this is A Real Girl, and we are back with this week's Video Friday Fix. I have Scott Sigler with me. Say hello, Scott Sigler.
Hello. How are you, junkies?
How are you?
I'm doing great. It's New Year's.
Well, it's New Year's Eve today, yeah.
It's New Year's Eve today.
We just did a Friday Fix last week where we talked about the kind of the year in review. And I'm going to have a blog post up at Empty Set. I'm going to blog at emptyset.com. That's my New Year's resolution.
That's going to happen?
That's my New Year's resolution. I'm going to try.
Okay. I forgot about it. Mood lighting.
Oh, mood lighting. Nice.
Mood lighting, yeah.
That'll cover all the the nitty gritty details. There have been a few people who said but we normally hear how many miles Scott's traveled and all that other stuff, and we didn't do that. So I'm going to do that as a blog post.
Okay.
But this week we are here right now to talk about our con schedule for 2015.
Yes, our con schedule for 2015. I hear there's going to be some changes afoot.
There are changes afoot, and I wanted to, as soon as we could, get it out in front of the junkies so you guys can have time to plan and get used to it and ask questions if you have them, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So, would you like me to do all the news?
Yeah, do all the news that is fit to print or to speak or to video, whichever.
We have 4. We're planning to do 4 cons on our own dime next year.
As many as 4 cons.
Right. And they are, we have Sigler Fest, which is obviously a huge con for us. It was the biggest that we've ever had last year. Super fun. It'll be, I think it's the 8th, 9th, and 10th. Okay. It's
8th, 9th, and 10th of
October 2015. Yeah.
All right.
It's always Columbus Day weekend. And I believe Columbus Day is October 12th.
Columbus was pimp.
Well, he wasn't really.
He's gangsta. Columbus was crazy gangsta.
No.
Yeah.
No. Well, not if you were an American at the time.
If you think about the amount of disease he brought over and the number of people that probably killed, that's like serious gangsta. He's laying waste. Pow.
Yeah. So I'm not really into the idea that he was sort of Scarfacey, but that's not what we're really talking about.
Okay.
So Columbus Day weekend. And that's in October, so I guess we're working backwards. We'll also do Dragon Con, which we do every year.
Every year, lovely.
Yeah, and we're going to do that.
Going
that's
to the
in Atlanta.
ATL, yeah.
That
nice.
is Labor Day weekend. Was Labor gangster?
No, Labor. Well, there was a lot of gangsterism in the labor movement. However, in some ways, those two were totally entwined, but we won't get into that right now because it's not, unlike Columbus, it's not a source of absolute expertise for me.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So we will not, in case you haven't heard, there is no GFL book in 2015. So there won't be a launch party, but you're already confirmed as a guest at DragonCon 2015.
Sweet.
For planning purposes, super duper early. I will tell you that you'll be working a lot more on the horror track this year, I think, than you have done in years past. Last year's you did a handful, but this year you're much more involved in the horror track as well.
It's mostly been the podcast track and a little bit in the skeptical track.
And the science track, yeah.
And science track. It's time to branch out a little bit and get into some of the very specific topics area. Of course, the science and the skepticism is a big part of all the books I write.
Oh, of
but
course.
They're also scary too.
Right. No, for sure. And and really it's a function of I've already gotten quite a lot of feedback and interaction with the folks on the horror track to have you there. So I think that's in the Marriott or the Hyatt. Okay. I forget. But anyway, plan to walk, get a Fitbit before August helps.
And if you get a Fitbit, you can be on my Fitbit's friends list, which I refer to lovingly as my Fit bitches. Yeah.
So that's August. So working backwards, we have Sigler Fest, Columbus Day weekend, Las Vegas, Nevada, the Orleans Hotel and Casino. Any moment you should be able to register for that sometime the first couple of weeks of 2015. I'll have registration on the site maybe next Friday.
Okay.
Labor Day weekend, Dragon Con. No GFL 6 launch party, but lots of panels and such, and hopefully Swoopy will have us back for one for the Junkies panel.
Hopefully.
And then every year we, of course, are in San Diego, 5-6 blocks from the convention center. So every year we go to Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con. That is I'm sure you can look it up on the Webernets sometime in July.
It's a thing, the Comic-Con. You guys,
San Diego
you guys
Comic-Con's
can look
big
up
thing.
the Comic-Con. It's kind of a big deal in San Diego, so that works out well.
We generally go to that not to work, but to play.
Mm-hmm.
But every year people say, hey, there's going to be any kind of meetup or whatever. So this year it'll probably, or next year, I guess, if it's New Year's Eve today, it'll probably be a little bit warm in July, but we'll probably have an open house here at the Empty Set offices. So
Yes.
if you are local to Comic-Con or coming to Comic-Con or coming around Comic-Con, but you can't get a ticket to Comic-Con, but you do want to see the FTO, we will have an open house one of the nights sometime around Comic-Con here at the Empty Set
Which
office.
will be extremely gangsta.
Okay, I'm not really sure why we're focusing on the
Snoop
gangster.
Dogg is coming.
No.
You,
No.
he hasn't informed you yet, but I assure you,
If you
Snoop
haven't
Dizzle
noticed,
is coming.
there is not a thing about you or I that is gangster. I mean, not one thing. Look at me. Look at you. Look at you.
I've killed millions of people
You are.
in my books. I've
Ni-
killed millions of people in my book. Those are parentheses in my books.
Those are okay.
They're different than
you know
air
what's
quotes.
not at all gangsta?
What? Air parentheses?
Exactly right. Exactly. But anyway, the important part of this whole video Friday Fix is not whether you are gangsta or not.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It is the cons that we're going to do. One more con. We're working backwards because big news. I know it's going to be difficult to believe, but it's true. We are not going to Balticon this year.
Balticon is out.
We
That
are
was safe. Wait, that was safe. Balticon is out this year.
this year. Yeah. It's been a really back and forth. We've talked a ton about it. We have a ton of friends who go to Balticon. It's a great con. It's super fun. So instead of Balticon, we're going to Phoenix Comic-Con.
Yep.
It was a lots of discussion, super hard decision to make. But we, at San Diego Comic-Con last year, we met and spent some time with Lee Whitesides, who runs the literary track of Phoenix Comic-Con, and he was great and super interested in having you come out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a giant and still growing healthy literary track
Oh,
at the
it's
Phoenix
huge.
Comic-Con.
They're doing a bang up job with the literary track over there. Yeah.
And it's just a week after Balticon. And because we have, well, of course, the money invested to get all the way to either con, plus the writing time invested. That's a very big deal.
The
for us.
opportunity cost of not writing during that travel time and doing all the other things that go on at a con, panels, etc. Every minute spent there is a minute we're not making new stuff for you guys. So that's why we've limited to as many as 4 cons this year.
Well, 4 cons that we are investing our time and money in. So I will say, so those are the 4 cons. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you're bummed out about Balticon, if you're super excited about Phoenix Comic-Con, anything like that, please talk to us in the comment section, talk to us on Twitter, talk to us on Facebook. But I will also say this. There are a lot of folks who email us and say, hey, you should come to my town.
Yeah.
And we've had quite a lot of success. If you come to us with a plan where you say, hey, I would like you to come out to my con, like ReadCon in Greeley, Colorado this past year, or Supernova and the one that was in Perth. WonderCon?
Yeah.
What was in Perth?
Supernova and WonderCon, I believe it was, yeah.
Okay. SwanCon.
SwanCon. The SwanCon was awesome, by the way. Go ahead.
So SwanCon and Supernova in 2010. I think the Minnesota Public Library did this.
Yep.
Last year, Greeley, Colorado.
Hennepin County Library.
That's it, right.
Yep.
Last year, Greeley, Colorado did this. If you come to us and say, we really, really want Scott to come, we don't have a lot of money, but we can cover travel, that almost always works out. If you email us and say, dude, you have to come to my con that's next door to me this weekend, that is probably not something that's going to work out unless it is Phoenix Comic-Con,
Probably not going to happen.
San Diego Comic-Con, Dragon Con, or Sigler Fest.
Or DOGG Con, because Snoop Dogg is a big sci-fi fan. That's what I've been told.
That's not true.
Yes.
That's not true.
He calls it the sci-fizzle.
No,
Yeah.
not true.
Okay.
Not true.
Well, you don't have to go to DOGG Con, then I'll go.
It's not on your calendar. Also not gangster. You have to check your calendar that you don't make yourself to see whether or not your DOGG con is
I'm
there.
pretty sure somebody else does Snoop Dogg's calendar. Dr. Dre has someone doing his calendar too. They're gangster. They're like, that's gangster, I believe.
Nobody says that. Nobody says that's gangster, I believe. That's
That's probably true.
Anyway.
That's probably true.
So that's our big news for this week's Friday Fix. Phoenix Comic-Con at the end of May. I actually think it's Memorial Day weekend. Easy to look up on the Webernets.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be there. We're really excited. It seems like a great con. It'll be our first time there, trying something new.
Yep.
That means we will not be at Balticon.
Right.
We will be at San Diego Comic-Con. We are always not working, but we will have an open house at the Empty Set offices.
Yep.
We will be at Dragon Con. You're already confirmed as a guest there.
Cool.
And we'll be, or at least I'll be, at Sigler Fest in October in Las Vegas. I'm not sure if you've been confirmed yet.
It's not on my calendar yet. So there you go.
That's a lot of sass for the end of the year. Anyway,
That's it.
Talk to us in the comment section. Talk to us on Facebook. Talk to us on Twitter. Have a great new year.
Yes.
Happy 2015, Scott
And
Sigler.
a merry, happy 2014. Death to 2014. That's my gangsta guns. Killing two. Oh, wait. Got to go over the top. Death to 2014.
You have terrible trigger discipline.
No, I'm not even on the trigger. That's the barrel. That's the hammer barrel. There's not even a finger on the trigger.
Just say goodbye, junkies.
Goodbye, junkies. See you in 2015.